Alright, good evening. Welcome back to the Could. This is July 6th, 2026, 7:19 p.m. I am documenting how you can add any sort of texture onto an already textured surface. So right now you see that I have a Momo in my Blender scene. If I go into the shading, there is this material which has come from trippo.ai. The one thing that I learned today, which I didn't sort of know before, was with you can add multiple UV maps to this particular mesh. So if you come into your data properties into your UV map, you can plus add another UV map, and let's just call it logo. Okay, and now if you go into the UV editing tab, you're gonna get the UVs for this material here, which is the UV map. Let's say I want the logo to only be in the front side. In the edit mode, I'm going to go to face select. I'm going to select the first half of the Momo. It's going to give me this sort of selection. I can always tweak it later because this is more like a complex surface. Circle selection tool, and even select these parts. Cool. So go to the front view now. I have this selected. With the second UV map selected, I can say U and project from view. That's going to give me a projection for this UV map. I'm going to control I to inverse everything apart from that part. I'm going to GX this on the side. So right now this only has this thing here. So in my shader, you already see there is a principal BSDF which is doing that. What I can do is I can duplicate this principal BSDF backspace to reset it. I'll just make some space here. Okay. Now here I'm gonna simply drag my Blender logo, which is transparent, by the way. That's important to note. I'm gonna add this to the base color, and if we just preview this, it's gonna do something like this, which we definitely don't want. If you have the node wrangler enabled, you can do Ctrl T to add texture coordinate and mapping. We don't need this texture coordinate. I'm gonna instead add a UV map input here, and I'm going to select logo and plug this into the vector. Instead of being applied on the whole thing, it's only being applied on the selected parts. And first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this from repeat to extend, and then instead of doing it this way, I can come back to the UV editing tab, select on this UV map, and then it gives me a selection of the coordinates that I have. So I'm just going to select this part. I'm going to scale it on the Y. Okay, and I'm going to scale it on the X, scale it a little more on the Y. I'm just trying to cover the little blender there. Okay, so that gives us this sort of logo on top of the texture, and there is some weird stretching happening here, so you can try and tweak this to like fix it, but it's up to you if you want to, if you don't want to. I'm going to leave it at that. So if I go back to my shading, I have this here. Now I'm going to Control Shift right click to add a mix shader between the two, and that adds this Blender logo on top of the original texture that I had. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this that we have as a factor. So it's only going to show here, and if you select this and press Alt S, it's going to flip the sockets. Okay, now what you can do is you can come in here, and between the image and the base color you can add a color ramp. Just plug it right here, and you can change the color from here. So the white color, let's say I want it to be orange, or like brown. I can select the black as well, similar color, and then I can play with the saturation value. Can move it around to have like different effects. So we flip them over, we get a darker sort of shape. Okay, and from here, if you want to add, you can add a bump into the normal. So let's say I come in here and add a noise texture. I'll just preview it. This is how it looks. I'm going to uncheck normalize and increase the scale. This is going to go into bump height, and we're going to drag this into the normal and view. So right now we're gonna have that bump all over everything. We just want it here, so I'm gonna drag the UV into the vector. So now you see that those bump texture is only in the part where we had that. So that is your Blender Momo with the logo wrapped on top. You can adjust a little bit here. Let's say if I want to increase this, if I want to change the way this looks, I can do that. And then I can play with the X location so that it doesn't tear as much. That's it. Thanks so much for watching. I will catch you in the next video. Peace.